It's Wellness Wednesdays with Dr. Nancy, providing helpful tips on how to live your best life now. Well, hello everyone. Happy Wellness Wednesday. Another live stream episode filled with great information today. We have Robyn Bowles, and she is the business optimization specialist. So we're going to be talking about cost reduction savings that is very essential for all businesses. And be sure to tune in every Wednesday, 12 noon Mountain Standard Time, live on all of these topics on how to live your best life now. And remember, if you're not able to tune in, these are all like on demand too. So they're recorded, and you can find all those episodes by getting out your smart device and texting 26786 and the keyword Dr. Nancy, and you can binge watch all of these Wellness Wednesdays. Robyn, it's so wonderful to have you on the show today.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nancy. It's great to see you again.
Yes. So, Robyn, congratulations is in order. I do want to congratulate you on the award that you just won for your organization, Schooling Mitchell. Tell us a little bit about what the Pulse, what is it that the award that you got, the most Pulse subscriptions?
Yeah, so Schooling Mitchell has a communication that we can send out to contacts, clients, and prospects. And what I love about it is it's not a sales pitch. It's not a, look at me, buy my product. It's really around things like TED Talks or book reviews or just really helpful articles for anyone in business that can apply to any business situation. And I love that. So I make it a point to make sure that every contact I make gets signed up for the Pulse.
Well, that's amazing. And I believe that I've been a part of that as well. And you and I have been knowing each other for a little while. And I just want to tell everyone how valuable you and your organization is, and what exactly does cost reduction consultation means, and how beneficial can that be to a business owner?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think the things that we bring to the table that any organization, big or small, struggles with, first of all, is time. Everybody is busy. Most business owners are actually probably doing 2 or 3 different jobs at the same time. So no business really has time to examine their costs, exactly just like yourself. And the other thing is expertise. When you think of a business, Dr. Nancy, you could do your own taxes, but that's not your area of expertise. So we bring experts into our business for other areas, but people don't think about it when it comes to cost reduction. I think some business owners think they can DIY it and probably do pretty well. But we bring an expertise to the table that a business owner is just not going to have.
Yeah, that's excellent. That's so excellent. As business owners, entrepreneurs on any level of their career has skepticism of, what does that mean? You're coming into the business. I have to open up the books and everything that I'm doing. There's some anxiety there too. But with Schooling Mitchell and what you're a part of, Robyn, is a longstanding history of credibility, trust, and value to the communities. And so give us some examples of, all of these individuals that we've all been known to do it ourselves. But when we bring in expertise such as yourself, and then you're always researching specifically to the organization itself too. So the client that you're working with, you specifically research the needs that they have and bring in those expertise to save them money and time. Give us an example.
Yeah, well, I can tell you, and those are exactly what we try to bring to the table. And the expertise, I have to say, resides with our analysts up in Stratford, Ontario. They're incredible. I think they're one of the strengths of our organization is that we have groups of people with expertise, and that's all they focus on. Our merchant services team just focuses on merchant services, so they know it inside and out. But I can tell you of a recent client who was an e-commerce company here locally in Arizona. And one of the other thing I'd like to talk about is 80% of the time we are able to keep businesses with the same vendor. And having been in business, I know that changing vendors can be hard. So if we can keep you with the same vendor and reduce your costs, that's a real win-win. So with our e-commerce vendor, we were able to keep them with their same shipping vendor, just at a 30% cost reduction. So, same account, same billing frequency, everything remained the same. They just paid 30% less.
Well,
And
that's
then
really
absolutely. I mean, what's the downside in that, right? And then on their merchant services, we are able to save them about 35%, which would have meant a vendor change. But we also project manage that. We don't do the analysis and say, here you go, Dr. Nancy, good luck with that. You're on your own. We work to project manage it, whether you need new equipment. Maybe there's an early termination fee. What does that look like? Maybe you have credit applications that need to be completed. We help to lead all of that for you.
wow. That's like personal assisting the, business with everything, reading over agreements and contracts and oh goodness, change is ever constant. But it
Yeah.
is so hard to do when you are comfortable and you think about, oh gosh, I gotta change because it's such a ordeal. But to have an organization such as yourself, and you're not just standalone, you're like a whole organization nationwide too, Robyn, right? So people can really maximize the expertise and the benefit of the organization that's been around for a long time. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yes, so we are a franchise organization. We were founded in Stratford, Ontario, which is outside Toronto. And I think there's about 250 now, US and Canada. We have a lot of Canadian colleagues. And our headquarters has probably well into, I think, over 125 analysts. We have R&D teams that focus on different areas. We have people who focus on bringing new categories. We just added or are in the process of adding another category to our mix, and that takes about a year. We like to make sure that we've researched it enough to feel comfortable that it's really going to bring the savings that our other cost categories bring. So we get excited when we get new cost categories.
Well, that's amazing because when I was doing my research too with you, Robyn, and as well personal experience with your organization, the categories are, extensive, right? So telecom, fuel, waste, you do e-signature, merchant services, compressed gases, uniform and linens, facility supplies, and the list goes on. And
Yeah.
to know that you do a whole year of research before adding a category to make sure that you have the proper analyst to, go ahead and get that research for the businesses that you're bringing in for that particular category.
Yeah, and the categories honestly come from the field. They come from people like myself who may go to a client and the client says, can you work on this? And so that's how they come up with the new ideas for new cost categories. They come from the client's needs and the needs they're expressing to us.
That's awesome. Okay. Now listen, a service like this sounds like it's expensive, honestly. Now tell us, Robyn, how affordable is this expert service?
It's free if that's affordable enough. So we don't have a retainer up front. We get paid basically on the back end by splitting the savings. So all the analysis, the fact finding. You were talking earlier about how we dig into the specific client, what they're looking for, what's their future look like? Are they expanding, contracting, moving locations? All of that work up front does not cost anything. We simply split the savings 50-50 on the back end for 36 months. But during that time, we are still very much engaged with the client. We're doing two things. We're monitoring invoices. So we just spent all this time finding you a great rate. The last thing we want to have happen is, the rate starts to creep up and nobody notices. There's billing errors and nobody notices. So we're monitoring those invoices. And then we're also keeping our eye open on the market. And I'll go back to the e-commerce client for a second.
Okay.
He happened to ask me on the phone with our shipping analyst, how will I know when my volume is big enough for me to go back to the vendor and maybe renegotiate again? And she said, you don't have to worry about that. That's what I do. I monitor your invoices. And when I see that we have enough volume, I'm going to come to you and we're going to go back to the vendor again. So that's kind of how we stay attached to clients.
Yeah, you certainly do. And I can attest to that as well. So, gift cards, greeting cards, birthday cards, you're always constantly in touch. So definitely You make it feel like an extended part of the family and the business. And that's so important with building relationships and having win-win situations. And when you go back to the fees of it being complimentary and all of that hard work that you put up front, all that cost savings, it's so grateful to want to split something, of all that hard work that you put together, and it's a win-win situation. So you're saving the client money and you're getting paid for the services that you're providing. You're staying on board and making sure that those cost savings are continuous and beneficial. And as the business grows and develops, you're there to assist with any additional categories that they may need as well. So that's wonderful. How does an individual get started with you?
They could really just reach out to me, email, LinkedIn, and have a conversation with them about the different categories, what their business looks like, where they're going. And the other thing, quite honestly, Dr. Nancy, that I love about my role is I'm also able to bring other resources to bear. So I really enjoy the networking part and meeting other entrepreneurs and what they do. So even with my e-commerce client, I was able to say, hey, have you looked into the ERC tax thing? What about your website? So I have other professionals that if he had said, hey, I'm really looking for a fractional CFO, I could have recommended 2 or 3 people to him. So I love being able to help a business by connecting them with other great resources.
I can attest to that as well too, Robyn. And it's all about alignment at the end of the day. And relationship building, I cannot even express to you how important that is in our day and time and building businesses. And it's never too late to start with your services. Starting at the beginning of the year is always a great idea as well, but it's never a bad time to say, hey, I need an organization like Robyn's to come into my business, take a bird's eye view, delve into the books and the invoices to see how much savings, cost reduction, strategically putting my business in the best light to succeed, not just immediately, but for the future and years to come as well. So wonderful, wonderful. Now, you said all individuals have to do is get in touch with you. And then what happens when they connect with you, Robyn? What's the next step?
After the initial kind of consultation, then we would engage in bringing them on board, selecting the categories we're going to work on. And then again, as you mentioned, getting information about what their needs are. What do you like about your current vendor? What do you not like? What do you want to make sure you don't have or do have moving forward? And then all we need, quite honestly, we don't even really need you to open the books. We need 3 months of invoices or online access. That's the preference. That tells us pretty much where you are with the current vendor. We might also need photographs of telecom or merchant services equipment, things like that. And from there, our analysts will go from there and they'll come back with a value report, usually in 4 to 6 weeks.
That's amazing. So it's a complementary risk analysis. And 4 to 6 weeks later, you'll know what your business needs and how it can save money and continue to prosper and grow.
Absolutely. We'll give you down to the penny. Here's what this new, because we've already done the negotiation. So we're not giving you estimates or projections. We're saying, this is our recommendation, and this is exactly what you're going to save from that to the penny.
That's
and then
awesome.
in addition, you will not get an invoice until you've already been implemented for 90 days. So you've already saved money for 3 months. You'll get an invoice from me for half of that savings. So you're never technically taking $1 out of your own pocket. You're only paying me out of savings you otherwise wouldn't have had for those 3 months.
Wow, that's really, really a great service, Robyn. I'm so grateful to have you on the show to talk about tips on how to live your best life now. And, business owners, health is your wealth, and, speaking to individuals in a holistic sense, peace of mind, resting well at night. It's not just about how you eat or, how you work out, but it's in its totality. It's a holistic view. And an organization such as Schooley Mitchell and what you do, Robyn, with your organization is a wholesome outlook on health and wellness and well-being financially.
Absolutely. And to kind of bring it full circle, part of the reason I decided to go into schooling Mitchell came from my corporate America experience where I saw people getting laid off and I didn't see much effort from the organizations to cut costs. The easiest and quickest thing to do is usually to lay people off. And so organizations find themselves in this very unhealthy cycle of hire, lay off, when they could look at something more sustainable, like reducing some certain costs.
That's exactly right. We do have a lot to learn in this world. We just have to, show up and be present. And there's always takeaways and lessons to be had and life experiences. And the world is such a better place to have you, Robyn, doing what you do to help businesses out. And no business is too small or grand, correct?
No, if a business wouldn't meet, say, our minimums, I still would like to talk to people because there's tips that I can give them and advice I can give them. When someone's starting out with a business, there's so much they don't know. And unfortunately, sometimes they get themselves locked into different contracts or different systems that they're going to find out a year or two down the road aren't the best solution for them. And so if I can prevent someone from making that mistake, I'll take the time to do that free of charge.
Well, we have all been there, and I can tell you, I've attested to that as well. We do live and learn, and that's why, this media outlet, this platform is to bring individuals on that are experts in their field to talk about how you can live your best life now and not make some of these interesting detours that you make in business that's unnecessary when you have individuals at your, right here, tune in, listen to the advice of, these experts to help live your best life in your business. And then we can all rest better. Definitely.
Absolutely.
So, Robyn, it's been such a wonderful time to have you on the show. I will have your contact information attached to the LinkedIn feed. This live stream will be recorded and also available on demand at Dr. Nancy's Integrative Medicine Facebook page, Dr. Nancy's Integrative Medicine YouTube page as well. And stay tuned for more Wellness Wednesdays. And listen, have a great rest of the week. Thanks, Robyn, for having you come on the show and let everyone know that cost reduction in your business is going to save you time and money. You won't regret it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dr. Nancy.
All right. Everyone have a great week, and we'll talk again next week. Bye for now.